Have you ever really gotten into something,
Okay.
Like you've learned the basics, but then there's this moment where it all clicks and you just feel like you truly understand it on a deeper level?
Absolutely. It's so satisfying.
That's exactly what we're aiming for today. We're diving deep into a concept from Taoism called the 10,000 Things. Maybe you've come across Taoism before and felt like, there's something more here, something deeper. We're going to explore that today, focusing on this fascinating idea of the 10,000 things.
Yeah, what's so interesting right off the bat is how simple this concept seems. The 10,000 things sound straightforward enough. It's just a number, right?
Right.
But as our sources point out, it very quickly opens up all these layers of really profound meaning. And the Tao Te Ching, it says it so beautifully. The nameless is the beginning of heaven and earth. The named is the mother of 10,000 things.
Wow.
So right there, it's hinting at something really profound. It's suggesting that the most fundamental aspects of reality, they're beyond our ability to put a label on them, to even name them.
I see.
And everything we can name and perceive, everything we experience, it all arises from this nameless source.
It's like it all comes from this mystery
Yeah.
that we can't quite grasp directly.
Exactly. And that's the kind of nuanced idea we're going to unpack today.
I love it. To help us wrap our heads around all this, we've got two really interesting perspectives to explore. One of our sources dives straight into the philosophical meaning of the 10,000 things.
Classic deep dive material.
Exactly. And then the other source takes this really relatable approach connecting Taoism to, get this, the Big Lebowski.
All right, now we're talking.
Right. So our goal today is to really explore the depths of this concept, to see how it plays out, not just in ancient wisdom, but also in something as modern and, let's be honest, as entertaining as a cult classic film.
It might seem a little strange at first, right?
Yeah.
Taoism and a movie about a very chill dude in Los Angeles.
Aha.
But what I find so illuminating is how these ancient principles, these timeless ideas, can pop up in these unexpected places. Like they subtly weave their way into modern narratives.
It's true. And it makes you wonder, like, are these universal truths that just keep showing up in different forms?
I think so. And it brings up a question right away. What exactly are these 10,000 things if it's not just a literal count?
Okay, let's break it down. What exactly do we mean by the 10,000 things? Our source is very clear. It's not meant to be taken literally. It's not like we're counting out 10,000 specific items or something.
Right.
It's more about this idea of a vast quantity, an almost inconceivable number of things. It's like saying too many things to count or everything that exists. It's about the infinite.
It's a way of talking about the totality of existence, everything that we can see and experience in the world around us. And to understand what's behind this philosophically, Chapter 42 of the Tao Te Ching gives us some really helpful clues. It lays out this sequence. The Tao generates one generates two generate three, and three generate the 10,000 things.
Okay, so it's not just about the number itself. It's about this progression, this evolution from the source outward.
Precisely. So we begin with the Tao.
Right, that original source of everything, that
Mhm.
undefinable essence.
Exactly. That which we can't quite put our finger on.
Right.
And from the Tao, the source suggests emerges one.
And what's one in this context?
Think of it as this unified primal energy, the very first manifestation of something from the formlessness of the Tao.
Okay, so we've gone from the Tao, the ultimate source,
Yeah.
to this one, this initial energy,
Yes. And from one, we get two.
which is where the duality comes in.
Exactly. This is the emergence of the fundamental duality we see all around us in the world, like yin and yang, those opposite but ultimately complementary forces.
Light and dark, hot and cold, up and down, it's everywhere.
It really is. And it's this interplay of opposites that creates balance, that allows for harmony.
So much of life is about those two forces.
Absolutely. And then from two, we get three.
And this is where things get even more interesting.
In Taoist thought, three often represents a kind of wholeness, a completion. It's like the bridge between that dualistic realm of two, the yin and yang, and the vast multiplicity of the material world.
So it's like the opposites come together to create something new, something whole.
Exactly. It's the interplay of yin and yang, giving rise to something beyond just those two forces.
Like a child born from two parents.
Yes, a wonderful analogy. And finally, from three springs, the 10,000 things. This is the manifestation of all the diverse forms, all the phenomena of the earthly realm.
It's amazing to think about this journey from the completely formless to the incredibly diverse world of forms.
It is, isn't it? And here's where it gets even more nuanced. Our source points out that there isn't just one way to understand the significance of these 10,000 things.
Ooh.
On one level, they can be seen as all the distractions, the endless stream of stimuli that we're constantly bombarded with in our daily lives. It's all the to-do lists, the obligations, the information overload, the constant noise and chatter.
I know all about that. It can be overwhelming.
Absolutely. And it can really pull us away from a deeper connection to ourselves and our spiritual potential.
It's like we get so caught up in the busyness of it all that we lose sight of what really matters.
Exactly. It's the tedious and the mundane obscuring the profound.
So, in a way, the 10,000 things can represent all the things that keep us from being fully present and at peace.
That's a really insightful way to look at it, especially considering how much more intense the world has become, with all the technology and the constant connectivity.
Yeah, it's like we have access to all this information and all these possibilities, but it can also be so distracting.
It can definitely feel like the 10,000 things are creating a barrier to clarity and inner peace.
So that's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
But our source offers another perspective, which is really interesting.
Oh.
It suggests that the 10,000 things aren't just distractions. They're also a direct manifestation of the Tao.
So it's not about rejecting the world or seeing it as something negative, something to escape from.
It's about recognizing that the material world, even with all its apparent chaos and complexity, isn't separate from the fundamental reality. It's an integral part of it.
This is a crucial point. It's not about trying to transcend the material world or deny its importance. It's about understanding that it has its roots in the Tao, and that embracing the world around us is part of living in accordance with the Tao.
This brings us back to that yin and yang symbol.
Right. Those opposing forces aren't eternally locked in battle. They exist in a dynamic relationship, a harmony.
And just like yin and yang need each other, the oneness of the Tao and the multiplicity of the 10,000 things are two sides of the same coin.
Exactly. Taoism, while pointing toward a single underlying principle, embraces the diversity of existence. It celebrates the multitude of forms that arise from that unifying source.
So it's about finding that balance, being present in the world, engaging with it, but also recognizing the interconnectedness of everything.
Absolutely. And understanding that even amidst the incredible diversity of the 10,000 things, there is a fundamental unity.
Okay, that gives us a much clearer picture of this core concept. Now, I'm really curious to explore that connection with The Big Lebowski.
All right, so The Big Lebowski. On the surface, it's this quirky, funny movie about a guy who just wants to bowl and drink White Russians.
Right. Seems pretty straightforward.
But as our source points out, there's actually a lot of wisdom there if you look beneath the surface.
You mean like deep philosophical insights hidden within a comedy?
Exactly. And the main character, Jeffrey the Dude Lebowski, he's presented as a kind of modern-day Taoist sage.
The dude is a Taoist sage. I love it.
He's this embodiment of Tao for the everyman. He's not some mystical hermit living in a cave. He's just a regular guy navigating life in his own unique way.
And it's interesting how the different characters in the film represent different ways of approaching life. You've got Walter, who's always trying to control everything, stuck in his rigid rules and his past.
Yeah, Walter's a great example of someone who's constantly fighting against the flow, trying to force things to go his way.
And then there's Donnie, who just seems kind of lost and oblivious to everything that's happening around him.
Right. Donnie represents a kind of detachment that's not exactly healthy. It's more like he's just not fully present.
And then you have the dude, who seems to effortlessly move through all the chaos and absurdity with this amazing sense of ease and acceptance.
Exactly. The dude embodies this central Taoist idea of going with the flow. The Tao, it's often compared to a river. It's constantly moving and changing, and resisting that flow, trying to control it, is ultimately going to cause you a lot of struggle.
The dude just seems to let things happen. You know, his rug gets peed on, he gets caught up in this whole kidnapping scheme, and just takes it all in stride.
He's not getting overly agitated or trying to force specific outcomes.
He just wants his rug back and another White Russian.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating is how the dude often repeats phrases that he hears.
Oh yeah, like, this aggression will not stand, or the parlance of our time.
Right. And of course, his mantra, the dude abides. And it's interesting because he doesn't come up with these phrases himself. He picks them up from other people.
It's like he's absorbing the world around him, taking it all in without getting too attached to his own interpretations or opinions.
Our source suggests that this repetition is more than just a quirky character trait. It's a way the dude adapts to the constant flux of life, to the ever-changing nature of the 10,000 things.
He's not clinging rigidly to any one perspective or idea. He's just going with the flow.
And then there's the rug.
The rug that tied the room together.
Right. The source highlights the symbolic duality of the rug. On one hand, it represents comfort, familiarity, a sense of order in the dude's world.
It's his little piece of stability.
But on the other hand, it's his attachment to this rug that sets the whole chaotic chain of events in motion.
It's like a cautionary tale about the potential pitfalls of attachment. How our desire for comfort and security can actually lead us into trouble.
Exactly. And yet, even after everything that happens because of the rug, the dude's overall attitude is, okay, let's keep rolling.
He just keeps going.
He's accepting that life is unpredictable, that disruptions are part of the flow.
There's this beautiful acceptance of the way things are.
And it's really interesting to look at some of the interpretations of the film from viewers. One commenter, Fred Folks, suggests that Walter, with his rigid rules and his obsession with control, he represents Western society's approach to life.
So Walter's like the embodiment of our rule-based, control-oriented culture.
Exactly. And then there's the cowboy narrator who pops up throughout the film offering these little bits of wisdom.
Oh yeah, he's like the wise observer.
Right. And Folks suggests that the cowboy, with his simple, straightforward pronouncements, he embodies Taoism.
Like when he says, sometimes you eat the bear and sometimes, well, he eats you.
Exactly. It's this acceptance of the natural order of things, the ups and downs of life.
And it's interesting that the cowboy seems to approve of the dude.
Yeah.
He says, I like your style.
It's almost as if Taoism itself is acknowledging the dude's intuitive understanding of how to move through life.
It's a beautiful thought. So we've explored this concept of the 10,000 things, and we've looked at how the dude from The Big Lebowski embodies this Taoist idea of going with the flow.
Right.
But how does this all relate to us?
Yeah.
How can we apply these ideas to our own lives in the modern world?
The dude's approach, it gives us a really practical example of how to navigate the complexities of modern life with a Taoist sensibility. It's about finding that balance between actively participating in the world and not resisting the way things unfold.
He's not passive. He bowls, he goes on this crazy adventure to get his rug back, but he's also not letting himself get completely swept away by the chaos.
He's engaged, but he's not attached to specific outcomes.
Right. And it's like his ability to stay calm amidst all the absurdity. It reflects this understanding of the ever-changing nature of the 10,000 things.
He's not trying to control everything or fight against the constant flux. He's adapting to it, even when things get really weird.
And that idea of detaching from outcomes, it can be incredibly helpful in managing stress and expectations.
Think about how much suffering we create for ourselves by being so fixated on things going a certain way.
Right, like if we could just let go of that need to control everything, maybe we could relax a bit more.
Exactly. And the dude's easy come, easy go existence, as the source describes it, it's like an antidote to the overwhelm we often feel in the face of all the demands and distractions of modern life.
He's not getting too hung up on material possessions or clinging to rigid viewpoints.
It's about finding a way to be present and engaged with the world without being consumed by its constant changes.
To wrap it all up, our deep dive into the 10,000 things has shown us that it's so much more than just a big number. It represents the incredible diversity of reality, all the things that make up our world, both the mundane and the extraordinary. And it's all interconnected, all flowing from that ultimate source, the Tao.
And this central Taoist principle of going with the flow, of finding that balance between action and non-resistance, it's beautifully illustrated by the dude, this unlikely Taoist sage.
And for you, dear listener, on your own journey of seeking knowledge and understanding, remember that the 10,000 things, the complexities of life, they're a given. But our resistance to them, our attachment to how we think things should be, that's often what causes us the most trouble.
So as you go about your day, consider this. What are the rugs in your life? What are you holding on to so tightly that it might be causing you stress or leading you down a path that's not serving you?
And how might you approach those situations with a bit more of the dude's abiding attitude, with a greater sense of acceptance and a willingness to go with the flow? Think about how finding your own middle way, your own balance between effort and ease, can lead to a deeper understanding of yourself and the ever-changing 10,000 things around you.
Maybe that's the true key to navigating this complex world we live in.
Food for thought.